Hey developers! Today we're going to talk about and look into something super exciting, the Arduino PLC Integrated Development Environment. I guess most of my viewers are aware of what Arduino is, but for you who are not, Arduino is an open source hardware and software company. They design and manufacture single board microcontroller kits like this one I have here in my hand. So they make bigger and smaller ones and for all kinds of applications. These boards are equipped with sets of digital and analog inputs and outputs. The boards can be programmed using the C and C++ programming languages. Arduino has over the years provided their own integrated development environment, simply called the Arduino IDE. Traditionally, the Arduino boards have not been targeted to PLC developers, but it seems that is about to change now. Arduino have started to venture into the world of industrial automation with the release of the Arduino Portenta Machine Control and the Arduino Opta, which both have qualities that make them suitable for use in the industrial automation field. The Arduino Opta is even marketed as a micro PLC. Even more recently and much more exciting is the fact that Arduino have released an IDE for PLC programming. It has support for all the 5 languages in the IEC 61131-3 standard, and with such an exciting release, well, we just have to look into this. Compared to their standard IDE, the new IDE for PLC does not seem to be open source, however. At least I didn't manage to find any source code for it. Maybe that is something Arduino will change in the future. Or they take the whole thing with industrial automation super seriously and close source everything, just like everyone else. Time will tell. At least the IDE is free, in stark contrast to most automation vendors that rob you just to program their systems. Anyway, I happen to have an Arduino Portenta Machine Control board at home, so I used this guy for a project a couple of months ago, so very lucky to have it at home. And this is supported by the new IDE, so now there is simply no reason for me to not play around with this and share my findings with you. So in this video we will install and use the IDE together, for the first time for me as well. In this video I'm only briefly going to look into the IDE to get some initial impressions, but in the next and future videos I'm planning to play around with this much more, and I don't know, maybe I will have this Arduino guy here talk with the Beckhoff PLC, maybe? Like, hello, hello, or something like this. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss that and all the other future videos I'm planning to make about this new venture from Arduino. Enough talk, let's get started. Hello everyone, so let's get started. I'm gonna start doing everything from this website, the docs website of Arduino, so docs.arduino.cc, and I went to software and PLC IDE. Here is where all the documentation is, so I'm simply gonna follow the documentation and do what Arduino are telling me to do. I thought I would start with this one, Arduino PLC IDE setup and board license activation. And this is quite interesting because we can immediately see that this website is generated from a GitHub page. As we can edit it directly if we have some suggestions, which is very nice. So we can, okay, doesn't work. Not very surprised, this is new, so probably lots and lots of broken links here. I think Arduino probably still have some work to do. Anyway, I just thought let's follow this and see where we get together. I should mention I'm running this from a virtual machine, from a virtual box. So I have the PLC, the Arduino microcontroller, connected to this virtual machine through a USB cable, and then I just forwarded the USB to this machine. So blah blah blah, we need to the PLC IDE, general things, goals, install the IDE and the PLC IDE tools, whatever that is, upload the bootloader to the board, and then we will connect the computer to our microcontroller through the IDE. Yeah, that's good, that's what we want. Then we need to activate a license. Okay, so we need a license. for this to run. Okay, I hope it's not expensive. Then we require this Portenta Machine Control board, which I happen to have the IDE and a license key. So okay, we're probably gonna get back here later. First, we need the Arduino PLC IDE tools and the IDE. So let's get that from here, I guess. Download the PLC IDE, okay. So here we have the IDE. And what, yeah, okay, so we have the IDE here and the IDE tools. The interesting thing here is that you have all the software that you can download, and as you can see, you have the old legacy IDE for normal Arduino controllers, so not the PLC stuff. And you have the new one here, the 2, which was quite recently been released. And what's immediately interesting here is that you have the source code for the Arduino IDE 2 here on GitHub. So you can go to the IDE and you can download all the source code and make suggestions for improvements and whatever. Everything is open source, which is really, really great for the normal IDE, as well as the old one. For the PLC IDE, not so much, no source code. So for some reason, Arduino have decided to close source their PLC IDE, which is a big shame. But again, this is industrial automation, and industrial automation, as you all know, is very closed. Everyone wants to keep everything for themselves. Unfortunately, Arduino as well. Okay, let's just download what did the documentation say? The tools first. So let's do that. Let's download it. Just download. I don't know what these tools are. Okay, it seems to be all the drivers and everything for the various boards. Makes sense. Okay, that's it. Then we download the normal IDE. Quite a small installation, just 34 megabytes. Let's just install it, and let's launch it. Okay, interesting. A nice splash screen. Oh, and here we go. A completely new IDE for me. Interesting, fun. It's always fun with new PLC IDEs. So let's create a new project. Let's call it Test Arduino. Let's put it somewhere where I will remember it. Let's quickly create a folder, code. Just put it there. Directory code. Set it a target for a new project. So there's only one now. I think Arduino will add other boards as well, especially their PLC board, which hasn't been released yet, but I guess that will be the next one that they will add here. Okay, sensitive. Okay, but this is interesting. Before we connect to the target, let's get a little bit familiar with the development environment. So we have the project here, it seems. So I guess this is our programs, task definitions. Okay, interesting. Okay, you can set the tasks here. That's cool. And they have an init task, so I guess this is something that only runs once. Yeah, single. Only runs one time, and then you have different tasks. And I assume that you somehow can add more tasks to this. And here you set the cycle time, it seems. Can you change it? Set period, yes. Yeah, okay, you can. Set 1 millisecond. Can you set lower? Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, let's just keep it at default. Then I guess you can add programs somewhere. Yeah, here. And yeah, it's quite similar to all the other development environments, right? You have your tasks, and then a task is pointing to a program. So here we have a program, and then we have this is probably a variable somewhere. Interesting, okay. Okay, and here you have local variables, and this is probably global variable then. Yeah. Go to symbol, you have global variables here and a global variable list. Okay, so again, I wouldn't recommend you to use global variables unless you do data exchange between tasks or something. But so I assume that you define your variables here, and like so, the data type, which address they should be at, whether they're an array, you can set an initial value to them, attribute, I have no idea what this, okay, whether it's just a constant. Okay, it's slightly different than we're used to in TwinCAT, that's for sure. Okay, let's play a little bit. Let's put something here, let's call it mCounter. Make it, so this is, okay, so this is some object browser with all the different data types. I assume we will get our, if we create our user data types, so function blocks or structures, that we would get them in this list as well. Right, so let's just do an uint. Let's see if this works, mCounter. Then we can do structured text. Oh, what am I doing now? Like so. What do we have here then? We have, so here obviously we can create all our objects. I assume we can create function blocks. Yeah, function blocks, functions. Let's do a function block. Okay, here you choose the language for the function block. Interesting that they kept instruction list. I hope that the guys at Arduino are aware of that instruction list will be removed in the next version of the ISE standard. I wouldn't put too much effort into making sure your compiler is compatible, can use instruction list. Anyway, we're gonna structure text. I will just create a test function block. Okay, and it looks more or less like a program. It has its local variables. Let's just create a variable here. Insert a local variable, call it. Okay, this is whether it's var input, output, and so it's here. That's neat. Name as my string. Let's create a string. Okay, with a certain size, you can change it. So I think in TwinCAT it's usually 80, that's the default. Yeah, we want this to be auto, whether it's an array. Okay, so you can set an array of strings like this. So okay, so it actually helps you to define these variables through this graphical user interface. You know, in TwinCAT you have to write everything manually, and here it adds this graphical stuff. That's neat. You can initialize with something, so I guess you hello world. I don't know if it needs the quotations things or not. Okay, that seems to work. Attribute, whether it's a constant or not, and okay, a description, that's probably just like a comment. And then I guess you can change this in runtime. Right? So this is probably the body. This has to be the body of the function block, I assume. I don't know if this will compile. Actually, where do we compile? Some of these buttons, simulation mode. Unable to run simulation, okay. Why? What do I have to do to run a simulation? We have connects to the target. Well, we don't have the target defined yet, so we have to do that later. But how do I compile? Compile PLC project, of course. Cannot compile sketch file, error. Okay, why? Compilation pre-builds there. Where do I get the errors? Let's compile again. Now it worked. Okay. 0 warning, 0 errors, so I assume the compilation worked. I'm just gonna double check. If I just write some crap here, will it still... Yeah, it will compile, of course, because this is not used anywhere. So if I make an instance of our function block, let's try that. FB test type should be our new FB test, and where is that? How do I create an instance of our function block here? Function blocks. Okay, you have to select function blocks here. Then we have it there. Nice. Address out array, no, blah, blah. And then I just want to call my FB test. That's all I want to do. And now if I compile, I get no errors. And if I add some trash here and compile, I get errors. Syntax error. And it even points me to the right place. Nice, nice. Okay, so we are getting along with the development environment, I would say. Okay, and how do I get access to the I/O? So real-time communication. Here we have something library tree. So those are different libraries. I saw in the documentation somewhere that it could do Modbus RTU and TCP. So this is interesting. Not anything I'll talk about today probably, but definitely something I will investigate. And we have resources. So, okay, here we have stuff actually. So we have the mapping for digital inputs, outputs, and everything. So again, the board I'm using has all of these different programmable, fixed and programmable digital and analog inputs and outputs. And we have Ethernet as well. So maybe this guy is the one that can be used as Modbus. All right, that's neat. Sketch. Okay, this looks like the normal Arduino sketch. And actually, that made me think of one thing now. Is all of this, where is this stored? So is this stored as pure source code? FB test, let's go to code, test Arduino. Where is the source code? Okay. Build sounds like some object files probably, not that. This is a big file. Okay, I really hope that they store the source code in plain text and not in... Yeah, let's find out. You know what? Let's find out. FB test. This is a big file. I hope it's not gonna be there. Oh shit! Yeah, this doesn't look good. They stored everything like this big XML files, but that's okay. This is the task configuration. I mean, this reminds me of TwinCat, I would say. Hopefully they have not. Ah, crap. Okay, Arduino. So just to get this straight, don't do this. What I would really recommend you is to, if anyone from Arduino is watching this video, please don't store the source code like this and the configuration. I mean, put it in separate files and don't use any XML markup for it, because it just makes it a nightmare to do version control, which now more and more people are using in industrial automation. I would really recommend you to look at, so I was at SPS Messe this year and I saw the Siemens AX system. And they show this really nice system that they're doing, where they're basically using Visual Studio Code for all their software development, and they are storing all the source code as plain text. I've done a video about this already regarding TwinCat as well, that I wish Beckhoff could store all their structured text code as just plain text in separate files, in their separate POUs. I would really recommend you to do this, because this is going to be a nightmare when you do version control. And the only thing that's going to happen now that I can already see is that you or other third-party suppliers are going to add a very expensive license just to do version control. And we don't want that. I think the industrial automation community has had enough of that already. And I mean, you're doing a completely brand new editor here, and you really have a chance to make something that's really good. And don't do it this way. This is the worst possible way. Well, the worst possible way would be if you did a binary blob. That's even worse. But this is quite bad. I mean, you can't version control this. Anyway, I'm getting a little off to the side. Regarding that, I don't see any version control integration. There's probably one, maybe. But yeah, I'm not going to look at that now. Or maybe you just have to version control everything separately. What more can we look at? Okay, so we have the local variables here, my string. Can I add a method? So do they support the object-oriented stuff, like inheritance and polymorphism and everything? New method. I can't click on new method for some reason. So maybe this is something they will add in a future release. That would be interesting to know. I mean, this is also something we can assume, right? That this is completely new and they're working on it and they're going to make many changes. So maybe they simply haven't implemented everything. But they have support for function blocks. And so you can at least do so far some of the object-oriented stuff. And it seems that they will add methods to it. Let's see what we got up here. We have the usual stuff, toolbar, project, options, ladder editor, use object-oriented features. Actually, let's look at that. The project will be saved and reloaded to apply changes. Do you want to continue? Okay. What does it mean? Can we add? Now we can add new methods. So why isn't the object-oriented features enabled by default? That's the question. Anyway, it seems you can make methods, so add one, and then you have a method, add one. Okay, nice, well done. Let's try to wire this guy up now to our PLC or our microcontroller. So let's go back to the documentation and continue reading what they say. So we've created a project. After creating the project, there are some new windows. Click on the board and it will open the board configuration page. Where did we have the board then? So resources. This guy, I guess. Ah, yeah, there it is. And then what do we do next? Download the runtime. The board needs to run a specific program runtime in order to interact with the PLC IDE. So we can think of this like the XAR for you that are doing TwinCat. Go to the other section below the device info block. Other, yeah, that's this guy. And plug your device to the computer. I've done this. Select the serial port of your board and then click on the download button. So I should... Okay, if you noticed a tiny glitch there, it's because I had to restart my virtual machine and I had some problems with getting the virtual machine to accept the board, but now it does. Now it seems to recognize a port here, and the instruction says that I have to download the runtime by pressing the download button. On a new board, file system format will take some minutes. Okay. It actually says cannot compile. Sketch error code 1. Okay. Why not? No such file or directory. Okay, what's the problem now? This is a clean install. A critical error occurred. Oh, yeah, this is too bad. Would you like to save? No, why would I want to do that? And I got kicked out. Let's try again. Let me see that I didn't miss anything. Maybe I... Projects that I'll create a new project. Okay, so let's do that. I'm not gonna mess around with the project. I'm simply gonna create a new project. Test Arduino 2. I guess it doesn't have to have a special name. They call it test project. Okay, let's do exactly like they say, test project. And then download. That's all they do. No, I still got a error. Hello all beautiful people. So what I did eventually was that I ditched the whole idea with the virtual machine, because I saw here while reading the documentation that the device will show up 2 serial ports, the default one, blah blah blah, but I didn't get that. I just got 1 serial port. So I suspected there was something fishy maybe with the communication for the virtual machine to this board. So I'm running completely from my machine directly now. No virtual machines, directly to the hardware. So I've installed the tools and the IDE again from scratch directly on the machine, and now that I connect it here, then I have 2 serial ports. So I suspect it will work now. So okay, it doesn't work with VirtualBox for some reason, or maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I used some weird driver for VirtualBox. I have no idea. So I'm gonna give a pass to Arduino for that. But it says here anyway, the device will show up 2 serial ports. The default one is generally with the lowest number is the usual serial ports. The secondary one is a virtual port for Modbus communication. So I'm gonna use the lower one and download. Now hopefully. No, I still get an error. But I think I got a different error. No upload port found using address column 1, blah blah blah. Bummer. Okay, I'm going to run with COM3 instead. Well, the system for sure behaves differently. Okay. Did it work? Let's look at the documentation. Download the runtime. That's hopefully what worked now. Connect to the device. Go online. Set up communication. Modbus. The other port. So I guess it will be number 1 now. So online, set up communication, Modbus properties, com. But now I have 3 ports. Oh, do I have 3 ports now? What? I have 3 ports now, come. Help me, computer gods, help me. What's happening? Okay, I don't know which one to choose, so I will just choose one. I will choose com1 first. Because that's what I feel like. And then I will connect. Am I connected? Error. Error is a bad thing. Red is a bad thing. I learned that red is bad. Green is good. I'm red and green colorblind, but I can still see the difference sometimes. Let's not try... wait. Let's not try... it's so sluggish. Connect. Let's not try number 1, but number 5. Connect. Connected. It's working. It's green. Green makes me happy. Now I need to buy a license. Hopefully I'm not gonna be robbed. And let's continue. Connect. License activation. Activate button. Yeah, but I want to press the activate button, but I need a license. And if I just go back, where do I buy the license? Here, unique PLC key for your device. Okay. Europe. I'm in Germany, Deutschland right now. 16 euros. Yeah, I think that's fair. 16 euros for a runtime. That is quite much cheaper than most of the stuff I'm used to. So let's just buy a license. Checkout. Okay, so I obviously had to cut that out because I had to enter my credit card information, everything. It went super smooth, super cheap. And now I'm gonna enter my product key. So I ordered it and then I just got an email with the product key. I have to remember to blur this guy out and then I will activate it. License activated for the following products. The IDE will be disconnected. Okay. Please restart the target. Sure thing. So what does it mean with restart? Does it mean power on and off? Is that what it means? That's what I do. I'll go and disconnect and connect the guy again. Okay, I have rebooted the guy, so I just disconnected the USB power, connected the USB cable again, and now let's just connect again. License okay. Okay, yeah, that was quite easy. Nice. So I guess we can connect. Yeah, we're connected to it, and I guess we can upload code to the funny guy now. Actually, when we're here, I just noticed that, I mean, we can add stuff and Modbus, but, you know, there's really no real-time protocols available. You know, if you want to run Profinet or ETCAT or something, it's very limited now. I'm expecting Arduino to add more stuff, but right now there's very, very limited fieldbus or industrial networks available. So let's go back here and see if we can upload our program. I mean, now we just have the default program here. That doesn't do much. Compile. Let's compile and see and finish off by seeing if we can run this on if we can do an online login and see the variables. That should be the minimum requirement. And how do we put this guy? Connects to the target, download PLC code. That sounds good. Cold restart required. Okay, uploading and stuff. Stuff happening. Nice. Is it done? Do we have any way to monitor variables here? So tools, online. Is there anywhere here where we can... Maybe we need to connect first. Aha, upload in progress. Interesting. Oh, breakpoints. Okay, good. So Debug window, nice, add to watch. Ah yeah, look here. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Question is, can we do online changes? So can I add +2 here instead? It goes quite quickly here, so let's just add 100. If I save it, can I do an online change? Okay, I mean, it's really the first time I'm running this, so I have... How does this work? Reboot target, no hot water. I don't know if I need to download. I mean, that's for me is not an online change. That's just... Let's press this one. Yes. Oh, but now it actually did an online change, I think, because it didn't start from 0, right? Let's just be a little more brave and change the data type to... Oops. Let's just... Oh, okay. Remove the function blocks. Something bigger, like a lint. I think it did an online change. I think so. Where did I press? Download PLC code. Okay, warm restart required. So it actually says when it needs to do a warm restart and not, because before it didn't. I didn't get this message, so I assumed it did an online change. Yeah, and now it starts from 0. So yeah, and now we can change why if we don't change the data type, but only change the value here, the logic, so to speak, not the declaration, then an online change should work, because then it doesn't need to mess around with the memory in the PLC, right? Do you want to compile? Yes. Yeah, and it just did an online change. Neat, neat, quite nice. I saw some other stuff while I was clicking here. What more we have on live debug mode? Okay, so it shows the variables live here and maybe even the paths. Should we try that? Yeah, we can add let's see, can we change the code while we're... Oh yeah, we have the... No, maybe not. We have to disconnect. Insert check. Just add a if check, then and if. Then just, yeah, let's add another variable here and counter 2. That's an int. Let's just use the big guys. Chip. Let's see, so this path shouldn't be executed, right? Now if I do one on connect, it still runs the old thing and I have to do an online login. So let's do that. Or a download. Yeah, I'm still not used with the icons quite yet. What's missing? And if does it have to be? What? Do I have to have a semicolon after and if? Really? Is that according to the standard? Okay, yeah. Sure, whatever. Now I do online. Where was it? Oh, it's... Okay, yeah, it only shows the... Oh, it shows the online variables, that's nice. I wonder whether I can change them on the fly. Yeah, I can. Let's see. Yeah, it works. Okay, yeah. So it has the basic features. I like it. I like that. What do we have here? We have an oscilloscope. I think we have to start to wrap this video up, but yeah, an oscilloscope, that's nice. And how do I add variables to it if I just wanna... Can I pull stuff into it or... Yeah, okay, and play, record, or stop acquisition? No. Ah, yeah, here we go. Now to scale. Yeah, okay, nice. A basic oscilloscope. I mean, if I compare it with TwinCat scope, it's very basic, but still, I mean, I'm actually quite impressed, to be honest. I mean, Arduino have... I didn't see this guy coming. I didn't see this coming at all. And I mean, they have a full-fledged. They have an integrated development environment for PLCs here that doesn't cost any money, which should be the usual case. That shouldn't actually be. It shouldn't be. I'm surprised, of course, but that shouldn't be. because I think the development environment should of course always be for free. But that's another discussion. I'm not gonna go there today. But they seem to have all the basic stuff that you want to do. I mean, you want to do with the PLC. I think with that said, I think I should just wrap this video up actually, because this has already gotten much longer than I thought. Okay, so I mean, what are my impressions? My general impressions are good. There's obviously a lot of stuff that's not here. I mean, you know, you have real-time field bus control. What about motion control? I mean, can you do motion control here? What about safety? What about, I mean, if I want to connect to this runtime and get the variables, how do I do that? Do I use Modbus TCP? I mean, there's lots of questions, and it's the same with the documentation. The documentation seems to be very, very limited. I quickly went to their GitHub and I see that they're working on it. I mean, they literally updated the documentation a few hours ago, so there's people working on the documentation as we speak. So I'm expecting that to change as well. But all of this, my initial impressions actually raises the more important question, and that is, I mean, what are their ambitions? What are their ambitions? Are they just to be for hobbyists to play around with, or is the ambitions to actually be for real industrial automation projects? I mean, obviously for big projects, I can't see this work for that anywhere now. That's something that can be discussed. I think Arduino for sure, they probably have some ideas where they want to go, and that's actually more that's the important question. The immediate feedback I can give to Arduino, and which I really hope they change, is the whole thing with source control. Don't store it in this way that you're doing it now for the structured text part. Please put it into separate files and don't do any annoying XML markup. Just store it in pure text. This is gonna pay off, because then me and other people can use our normal version control tools that we're used to, and that we're actually even using for your other IDEs, to store all the source code and do diffs and work with that, and, you know, integrate it into our build pipelines and everything that we're gonna want to do in the future. Actually, lots and lots of questions popping up in my head here. Can I access the compiler, or is everything locked down so you can only access it through the IDE? I mean, can I do compilations through a build pipeline so I can put this through a command line interface? You know, lots of questions, but I will for sure come back to this development environment. This is super exciting. So I think I'm very, very happy that Arduino have entered the industrial automation market. I'm literally super happy about it. I mean, I've been using Arduino for a very long time, and I'm super excited that they're joining here. Obviously, they're closing down stuff a lot for reasons, but it's still fun for me. For me as a software developer, I think it's super exciting and super fun to look at this. More importantly here now is, what do my viewers think? What do you think that Arduino want to accomplish with this development environment? What do you think? In which direction Arduino want to go? Please leave any comments in the comment section below. I would really, really appreciate your feedback and your thoughts on this. So that wraps it up. If you haven't already, then please subscribe to this channel. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will be coming back to this topic soon again. Thank you very much, and see you soon.